at the greenhouses, you saw the basket of your dreams. You bought it and you took it home and it looked gorgeous. Then it started not to look so good, and after some time it looked downright nasty. So we're going to show you how to fix that. Here's a basket that we brought home. This is one that we designed a recipe for, sold it in the greenhouses, and we wanted to bring one home to see how it grew. And you can see it's not looking too good. These petunias have gotten what we call leggy. They've just kind of started running out long without being as full as we'd hope, and everything's just not looking as good as it used to be. So step one in making your basket new again is to trim it back. And this may be hard for you to do because you're going to cut back something that looks really pretty. But I can promise you in 3 weeks, you're going to be thankful that you did. So we just want to show you how to do this. And it's not rocket science. Get a pair of scissors. I like to wear gloves because I've gotten carried away when I'm trimming my baskets and I've accidentally cut with my fingers, and the gloves have saved me from cutting myself. So I like to wear gloves. So then once we get this trim back, we'll show what it looks like, and then we'll talk about other ways to make sure your basket continues to look good through the whole growing season. So with this basket, we've got 2 different types of petunia and a verbena. And so with these types of flowers, you can actually get really aggressive. There's certain plants you don't want to trim back, mainly your ipomeas or your dracaena spikes or anything like that. There are grasses that aren't going to grow back as readily as a petunia or verbena. And so because this one, it's the state that it's in, we're going to be a little aggressive with this. And we'll just start right here. I like to clump them up like this, and we're just going to whack them off just like that. I can't let this guy get away. Don't forget to do the top too. You don't want an unbalanced basket. What this does is you cut it, the plant releases a hormone back down the stem, and it produces more leaves and becomes more full. You'll be amazed, like I said, in 3 weeks, the difference. Don't cut your wire like I almost just did. Just one last little bit. I think we'll be good. Okay. I like to also use this time not just to trim like the long stuff, but also to give it a good shape again. So if it looks like some is not, the basket's not as balanced, then you can take the time to kind of rebalance it and shape it. This is art, but with living things. And so you have the freedom to kind of shape it how you want. Well, that looks good enough for me. Flower looks lonely, so we'll get rid of it. So we're done. That wasn't too bad. And now it'll grow back with a lot more vigor and growth, and it's going to come back fuller and just be incredibly beautiful. So that's step 1. Now step 2, you gotta make sure this keeps getting watered. It's June here in Idaho, and we're coming up on the hot part of July. This basket may need to be watered twice a day to make sure it has enough water. The easiest way to tell is to stick your finger down in the dirt, and if it's dry, it needs water. It definitely needs at least once a day. And then the third thing is fertilizer. Water-soluble fertilizer, at least once a week, will promote growth for the basket. You can just use any generic. We use a generic 20-20-20. We put it into our watering container, and we mix it up, and we pour it in. So at least once a week. If you want more growth, do it more frequently. In our greenhouses, we use water-soluble fertilizer every day on our baskets. That helps them grow so quickly and so profusely with blossoms. This time of year also in Idaho, starting about mid-May to the end of June, mid-July, you got to worry about caterpillars or worms from moths. And so this is a great time to go ahead and spray. We use two different things. We use a spinosad chemical, or you can actually go get a specific caterpillar chemical. The difficulty, the thing you have to understand with the spinosad or with the caterpillar sprays, you've actually got to spray the caterpillar for it to be effective. So we've got our spray bottle here with our chemical in it, and so then we are just going to give it a good spraying. This is also a good time to make sure you have your gloves on, because again, we've got to make sure anywhere that those caterpillars can be, you got to do this once a week or once every other week for that 2-month period. Otherwise the worms will just eat your buds. They're called my understanding is they're a tobacco budworm. I don't know if that's the exact correct terminology, but they eat the flowers. And you'll start noticing holes in your flowers, and then they'll just stop blossoming because the worms will just eat the blossoms before they get a chance to come out. Make sure you mark your bottle. Unlike us, you don't want to accidentally use this for another purpose, but make sure you mark it that you've used your spinosad or your caterpillar spray. And that's good. We're good for trimming. Hopefully this trim should last us, I don't know if it'll last us the full season, but it should. If not, we'll trim it again. And it doesn't hurt them to trim them. It does great things to give them a trim. We'll spray every week to 2 weeks, and we'll keep fertilizing them. We'll have to give you guys an update when this looks better. Thanks for tuning in.